Good afternoon, everyone, and today we are going to talk about how to unlock the sales power within OPM tools. Now, when you talk about sales, sales is something which is every industry's or every business's main source or main focus area. It's the place or it's a department that's bringing in the revenue, and it's supposed to be the most effective, the most efficient, and the most highly managed process or department within the entire industry, because it's literally the backbone on which the entire structure or the foundation on which the entire structure of the business s- is standing on. Without a solid sales strategy, without a solid sales foundation, optimization, efficiency, no business can grow or scale through its current limitations. So, like every other software, even OPM Tools gives you a variety of different features that you can utilize in order to grow and in order to benefit your sales department, your sales team, and each individual sales team member. So, before going into further, let's just go with the presentation and see what we have for you today. So this presentation will be exploring around the key features of OPM tools and how they can revolutionize your sales process. We'll dive into scripts, SOPs, pipeline management, automation, and more. And then again, we can only provide you ideas. It's up to you how you utilize it. And then again, you can let us know if you want to have a strategy call on how to implement those ideas and make them work for your business. All right, so let me give you a little bit introduction of OPM tools regarding the sales aspect. So within the OPM tools, you have different tools or different features which can streamline your entire sales process, so you can watch them and manage them stage by stage in different perspectives. So you might have a sales process for the cold leads, then a sales process for warm leads, sales process for potential clients, and sales process for existing clients in order to upsell them or to manage them better. Then you have an intuitive interface, which means you can watch this data in real time on your screens, and you can even customize the dashboard or the data or the representation of data the way you want it to be. Moving forward, now you know what a pipeline is and you know what opportunities are within a pipeline. So you can use the opportunity board for pipeline management in order to see all the stages of your process within a certain process of a sales lead, and where each lead is, how much time they are in that particular stage, when are they moving forward, when are they moving backward, and and I would say how much value do you have in each stage. So for example, if you have, let's say, 100,000 worth of leads in cold lead stage, how many of them will be transferred over to the warm stage by the end of the month or by the end of the quarter? How many of them will be converted? What the conversion rate optimization or the ROI is going to be by the end of the quarter? And you can watch all of this through the opportunity board and the pipeline management. Then you can also assign data to team members. So when you're working with multiple team members working on their own list of contacts, you don't want them to be bothered or to be distracted by looking into someone else's data. What you can do is you can assign data to specific team members. So when they are coming down to work, all they see is their own data, their own contacts, and their own contacts representation on the opportunity board or on the dashboard. So that way they're focused on their own job and they don't just move around here and there trying to see what others are doing, or I don't know, just trying to see what others are doing or what others are working on. So they'll be focused on what their work is. They'll be clocking in, working on their own leads, and then clocking out. So, and then again, you can even induce team collaboration. If you have multiple people working on the same client or on the same industry, you can use a comment section within the conversations in order to post comments which through which you'll be tagging or notifying the other team members about important stuff. So for example, if me and Coven are working on OPM tools, and OPM tools in this case scenario would be a client of ours or a potential client, I can just comment through the conversations that, hey, Cohen, this person is more likely to convert with you rather than me. So why don't you take it forward? Or something like, hey, Cohen, I wouldn't be able to communicate with this guy or have a meeting with this guy since he's more of a guy in your time zone, not in mine. So would you mind handling this line or something like that? It could be anything that you want to mention or notify your team members about. So you can do that efficiently and seamlessly, basically. Now, by assigning data to individual team members and having their own sales process, their own dashboards, you can improve the efficiency and you can streamline your sales process by assigning the tasks and responsibilities to the right people. Then another way that you can do in order to boost your sales team or your sales department is to have SOPs and courses and step-by-step guides, basically literature or knowledge base for the sales team. Now, yes, it's painful to make it for the first time, but once you have it, you can deploy it within the courses section in the membership area within OPM tools so that whenever you have a new person hired, the onboarding of that particular sales member would be to go through that course, check out the community, gain the knowledge, not just about the sales, not just about the CRM and the software, but also about how the software is being used regarding the business they're in. So, what their to dos are, where do they need to check in for their leads, what things are supposed to be done, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, and everything according to that. So, you can prepare step by step guides for them. You can have videos and you can have the entire courses that they'll have to watch. And you can also have a community with the existing team members when they are conversing with each other regarding the problems they face or with the solutions they have or just basic training each other. And as a manager or as an owner, if you want to take a further step, you can also deploy automations to check if someone, for example, if Mustafa has been hired by your team or by your business and Mustafa is, let's say, 50% completed the course and he started working and has left the remaining 50% away, you can have system in place or automations in place to check that and report to the manager that Mustafa is lacking out on the course that he's supposed to do. And why is that important? Because if someone has completed the course, they will have no excuses to fumble the ball here and there because we have it on record that they have completed the course. Something like that. No, so now I'm not promoting micromanagement when I say that. I'm just saying that you can utilize these tools in order to provide a more collaborative and a more streamlined process so that the training part of your team is done automatically. So it's a one-time hassle, but then it will run for life. Now, other things that you can use regarding the development of your sales team is you build in sales scripts with custom values. What do custom values do is it auto populates the fields of that particular contact based on what's in it. So for example, if the message is something like, hey John, if it's been sent out to John, it will be hey John. If it's sent out to Bob, it will be hey Bob. If it's Mustafa, it will be hey Mustafa, and so on and so forth. So with just the name, you can have different custom values based on the type of business they are in, their annual revenue, all the different qualification or all the different important contact details that you want to have within your sales script. And then you can populate the sales script either into the notes section or into the task section or into, you can send it out as an email, as an internal email to the sales team member who's going to then handle the client. So I can get an email just before I have a call, and that email will contain all of the information, and that information will be auto generated by the system, and it just needs to be made once. It does not have to be made every time I'm on a call. So yeah, you can have dynamic scripts in which you can create personalized sales scripts with custom values like client names, product details, service details, and different things like that. Then you can ensure that consistent messaging is being done, that every sales team member is following the same script. And this way you can improve the efficiency by reducing the time spent writing those individual scripts by leveraging customizable templates. So you can have a template for every stage of where the lead is or for every type of scenario that your business faces. Moving further, You can utilize the favorite part of the system for me, which is the automations. And in front of us, we just have three automations. But when you go into the sales process, there are no limitations. It's endless. So for me, these are the most three basic, yet advanced, and yet the most necessary workflows which every business should have. The first one is the post call data validation workflow. What that does is, after the call has been completed with a potential client or with a current client, and if any of their contact fields are empty, it will either notify the branch manager, notify the person who made the call, notify the assigned user that this call has been completed, which means the other person picked up the call and had a conversation with the caller. So now it's time for you to add those details. It could be the first name, last name, email address. It could be something about their business or some other critical field which was supposed to be filled out during the call, but since it wasn't, now the system is reminding the person who made the call to go and update that. And if you want to take it a step further, if someone fails to do that by, let's say, 3 days, you can send a warning letter or another reminder to the branch manager, to the team head, or whatever you want, to ensure that these internal notifications are taken seriously, because empty data can highly affect negatively on any and every business. The second workflow would be the deal follow-up. So if someone has shown interest, if a client has shown interest throughout the sales process, or has said in a way that he is interested in the software, or he's interested in the service or in the product, you can have deal follow-up workflows to ensure that all of those deals are being followed up time to time in a timely basis, and no lead is falling through the cracks. And why is that important? Because not every, but most, or in an average sort of a business, almost every business is working with at least 5,000 to 10,000 leads at the moment as a minimum. Yep, as a bare minimum. Even if not that, then 1,000 leads is almost confirmed. So when you have 1,000 or 5,000 leads that you're working with a team size of, let's say, 10 people or 20 people, it's hard to keep up track of where those leads are, how many have been followed up, how many have been entrusted, how many were D&D'd, and so on and so forth. So with automations in place, you can be sure that none of those leads have fallen through the cracks, and all of them are being followed up in a timely manner. And third one, it's when the client has purchased your service or purchased your product or has completed a deal. Simple as that. You have closed that client in a positive manner. Now the next steps, you can have an entire workflow to automate all the internal tasks once a deal has been completed or has been closed, to prepare for the client onboarding or for the client's product or service completion. So if you are selling a service, let's say, as soon as a client has been won, you can start that chain of automation so that the person will receive an onboarding form. Let's say the relevant team members will be notified that XYZ has just signed up. This is what they want, and this is what they need, and this is the time duration that it needs to be completed in. And then you can have workflows to make sure that that work is being completed on time and is being delivered, and the client is being notified through every step of the process. Then you can also, within OPM Tools, you have another feature in which you can manage the contracts with digital signature. So for people who have worked with DocuSign and Adobe Sign and different softwares like that, you can utilize that same feature within OPM Tools to get signatures digitally. So OPM Tools will allow you to send and manage contracts with digital signatures, ensuring secure and legally binding agreements. Then you can have an entire streamlined process. So you can eliminate the need for the physical signatures by enabling clients to sign contracts electronically. And then you can also have automated reminders to check if the document or the contract has been viewed, has not been viewed, has been signed. If multiple signatories are on that particular document, you can check if how many people have signed. If the people who have not signed, they will receive an email that so and so has signed. We're just waiting for you. to move on to the next step and things like that. So whatever your process is, you can automate it entirely. And I think almost moving towards the end, you can utilize reporting and tracking regarding each and every individual team member to check how many calls they're making, how many calls were completed, what the average call duration was, how many emails were being sent out, how many emails were replied to. Every type of metric which is important for you and your business, you can check it through either reporting or through the dashboard, where you can create your customizable reports to check all the data which is important for you and your business, that everything is up to the mark. And if something and someone is fallen behind, you can take the action at the appropriate time instead of being late on it. I think that would be the right way to say it, probably. But then again, Cohen will be showing you step by step into the software as well to show what we mean by all of the things that we just showed you. And finally, that just does not conclude the sales features. It just gives you a basic understanding of what the opportunities there are within the software and how you can utilize them in order to make your sales team and your sales process much more efficient. Apart from that, there are many more features that you can utilize for your sales. It could be email marketing, SMS campaigns, building out landing pages for each specific product or each specific service or for each specific stage. And there's many more things to do to enhance your overall marketing strategy. So yeah, that would conclude today's presentation. However, I'm sure Cohen has a lot to show you with the software itself. But if so, by far regarding the theoretical part, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. And yes, I'm looking at you, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, yeah. Quick question. So in OPM, you have your contact, and there's a lot of information that can be gathered. And we know that here at our place, we have a sales rep that makes, let's just say he makes 200 calls a day. He or she makes 200 calls a day. Most of those are no's. So to take the time to try to fill in the contact information for future marketing down the road, because those no's could turn to yeses, but the time it's going to take them to enter that information in maybe is going to be a challenge. So when we build the custom list could autofill most of that information for us. Is that correct? If we get a good
Yes,
list that has it?
yes. But then again, when you're having these calls made through the power dialer, as the power dialer is almost a mimic of what's been used in the call centers, and I'm sure Mr. Jeff would agree with that. When you're working with power dialers, you have a time limit, not a time limit, but a small time duration before the next call. And you can build out your contact detail form or your contact details custom fields in a way that it's only click. So maybe if the question is something which has yes or no as an answer, the person before moving on to the next call just has to click yes, 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 no, 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 something like that. So it
Right.
can be
Another,
made easy.
I was just going to say, you build out what's called your dispositions, and then those can, obviously there's special notes sometimes, but then you can actually have, your canned dispositions, and those can even be triggers or tags to take the next step based on the agent's disposition, and then move on. And you can, and as Mr. has told you, you can set the number of seconds. They can always pause it if they need to make more notes, but it's a few seconds in between. It's actually very, very, very easy compared to the call center environment
To do it.
Yeah.
Well, because what I'm seeing is that, we are introducing OPM to the sales teams, and they're building lists, but they're still not comfortable with the lists that are coming to them from our team that's building the list for them. So they're going into their secret sauce, where the gold is in their mind. Maybe they're going to a chamber or some business place to call on businesses. And so all they're entering in is that number at first. they're making that call and then they're getting a no, not interested. So they're moving on to their next one, trying to call as many people as they can call in a day to get somebody that says, yes, send me an email or send me more information. So their whole mindset is, why do I want to stop with those no's and continue to enter the information in? Why wouldn't I want to go on to that next call? Because I may find somebody that's showing me a spark of interest. So that's kind of the thought. And I know we need to get the information, because out of 200 calls in a day, there's only a small percentage that's ready to buy that second. And it allows us to continue to use OPM to market through email or SMS and all the other stuff. But I feel like I'm going to get to that place of a big resistance when I go to introduce, hey, I know you haven't got that information in, but we need to start collecting it. So that's where my mind is going. And then I'm also going over to my IT marketing guy going, make sure you get these guys really good lists that has as much information as we can, so I don't have to pause them or stop them from their calling to put in data, because they don't want to be data pushers. They want to be sharers of our product and service.
And that's absolutely true. But what can happen is, when you're working with a list like that, you can ensure that even if the call is no, the data is still important for the future campaigns that you might be running. So if you don't know the person that you just called, what their name is, what their email is, what business they are in, what niche they're in, how are you going to reach out to them afterwards? If you have some products, if you have an email campaign or a text campaign or a voicemail campaigns, if you don't know what that other person is up to, how are you going to reach out to them? So yes, you can import a list with as many contact details as you want, but there always will be some contact details that has been missed out on, which will fall on the salesperson or the caller's responsibility to fill it out. And to check whether they filled it out or not, you can use automations to notify the team member that you have failed to fill out this information after the completed call. And if the person is still not applying it, you can then notify the branch manager or the team manager to make sure that that person takes the action required. Otherwise, at least that data will be in front of you. Of let's say if there are 10 team members, how many are filling out the information and how many are skipping out on that? Cohen, would you mind going ahead and showing everything that I just talked about in the presentation?
Sorry, I was talking away and then I realized I was on mute. But something I do also, because I do use it, is I'll open 2 or 3 tabs, and I've got the dialer going. I've got contacts going. So in other words, I'm not just on that one dialer page. I'm getting information, so I don't have to move around and so on. So I have multiple tabs open inside of my opportunities, so that I can see what I want to see quickly by just doing a control tab, or I guess no, that's a shift tab, back and forth, or a control shift tab going back and forth. I love to be able to keep my hands on the keyboard and keep them off of the mouse as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. If you when your agents, because I used to have lots of agents and they were making hundreds of calls a day, the more they can see what's coming, the more they're going to find a reason to not make the call.
Yeah.
But when they just get a screen pop and they've got a few seconds to see who the name is, who to ask for, that does cut down on that, and they just have to make the call. So it's going to be some management issues too to get them to follow procedures.
Yeah. Well, we did. We slowly introduced OPM, maybe even a little bit too quick, that allowed them to get a little bit of that objection with us not realizing even how to communicate ourselves properly. But where our mindset has gone, it's, with the OPM prospecting 2.1, it seems like a lot of the information that they need can be created in the list and downloaded for them. However, getting more specific information about the decision maker and maybe the person's name, if it's outside of what we've downloaded, is the only thing really left to get. And then when they make a sell, they're going to have to go in and get address and billing and so forth. So the more that we can auto populate, I think for me, from an efficient standpoint, would be good. But they're not working right now much. They're working outside that list because they feel like they know where to go get their most qualified prospects better than what we have pushed over to them originally. So it's just work. And Jeff, you're right. I mean, we're going to have to coach and share expectations. And every day counts as you're a startup. So they're all their commissions and all their money is there. And they're even on this, they work underneath a block mentality that if they can't get that phone passed over to an individual, they may have to go because they're not accomplishing the task. So I don't want to put something in place that says goodbye to a good person because we haven't thought it all the way out yet. Because we got a good team of people that want to do it right, but they're a little slow with typing and gathering information. Because up until OPM, it was just dial for dollars. They're calling as many people as they can, trying to pass that phone. And now we're trying to do it from a much better way of managing all the contacts that we're making. So I don't want to take all
trying to, as they say, begin with the end in mind now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, and you got 4 years of data now that's been in an Excel spreadsheet that, once we get it into the right place, and OPM has been our choice of right place, and the team has been phenomenal. It's just trying to, like you said, make sure that we do it the right way and help them be successful along the way.
And just to add one thing, I'll just add a case study right now as well, that yes, majority of the information that can be populated will be populated when we import a list, but there will always remain some information that you collect on the call. Because for one business, what we did for them is when a call was completed, a field was marked if that person is not interested at all, or he's interested to receive some information regarding the business after 6 months, after 3 months, after 1 month, or after 2 weeks, or after 3 days. And based on that, they saw that the person that was receiving a reply from the system automatically, they saw a much better response rate because the person himself mentioned after how much time I want to be reminded, or after how much time, or after how much break do you can reapproach me. So
yeah,
you can induce that. And the way we did that was, instead of trying to add it within the contact page while having the call, after the call ended, the person who made the call received a form, and all he had to do was fill out the form. Or you can do it while on the call. So that way you're not spending extra time filling out the information. While you're on the call, you see the information or you see the questions in front of you. They can act as a script, so you don't forget those questions. And as soon as you get an answer while on the call, just type it out or just select the option. As the call ends, just click save and move on to the next call. So it won't even cost them more time. However, the data that they just entered might be useful for converting in the coming months. So the effort they put in right now might be valuable and would be probably valuable in the next 2 to 3 months when they're remaking those calls.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And those are things that we will need to implement as we're moving forward.
Do we have the inbound AI agent set up for them, Mustafa?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to return a call off of a caller ID, and that can keep your agent on the phone. And then, do we have any type of one click leave a voicemail when it goes to voicemail, so they can move on to the next?
Not right now. All we are focused right now is for Michael to build out the foundation, so that everything is in place, and then we can look into what phase 2 or phase 3 needs in order to send out voicemails or SMS or emails after an incomplete call, after a complete call, after a voicemail, after a hang up, this and that. All of those areas would be reached out to or would be completed when first the foundation has been made in place. And regarding the foundation, as Cohen is about to show, the reports, the documents, the SOPs within the courses and communities are highly important. Yes, it will take some time to build out those, but once they're built, it can prove to be highly effective. So
Yeah.
sorry, Cohen, I took up so much of your time in explaining
You're
this.
growing. Growing
But
says, hey, at least they're using the system.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Go
he's going
ahead.
to show you within the system everything that we just talked about. Over to you,
Yeah.
Cohen.
Thank you. Y'all can hear me just fine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I accidentally exited out, so I don't know. As Mustafa was saying, I'm going to be going over some of the tools that we have available to you that will definitely help out with some team management and some collaboration and just general information that's really nice to know when using OPM tools. Now, starting off, one of the very first things that you'll see if you go into your sub account, you'll see the dashboard. Now, in OPM Tools, the dashboard provides a comprehensive overview of your business's progress and performance. It displays key metrics like the number of leads in your pipeline, their total value, and their conversion rate. And you can also track appointment bookings, email campaign activity, and call details. Additionally, the dashboard offers insights into visitor data, conversion history, and general business metrics. And by customizing widgets and filtering data by date, you can gain a deeper insight and make data-driven decisions to optimize your operations. So as you can see, the dashboard provides multiple widgets such as the opportunity status, the opportunity value conversion rates, tasks, manual action, and so on. And if you click in the top right with the pen icon, you can see Edit Dashboard. And here you can add your own custom widgets as well. Now, in conjunction with the dashboard, there's the reporting tab, which is right down here if you scroll down. The reporting tab offers detailed analytics to help you understand your business performance. So starting off, we have let's do the call report. In here, you can see and monitor call activity, including call duration, outcome, and agent performance, as well as other things such as the Google ad reports, Facebook ad reports, attribution reports, agent report, and appointment reports, which are all corresponding with their own titles. And in the custom reports, you can also make what the title says, custom reports, by either creating from blank or choosing from the template library there are many to choose from, or you can just clone existing ones that are already in the system for you. Next, we have the conversation tab. This is basically a centralized platform for managing all your customer interactions. It allows you to view and manage conversations, respond to messages, track conversation history, assign and prioritize our conversations, as well as being able to collaborate with team members. So here on the left-hand side, you can see your list of your most recent contacts. You can also decide if you want to see your oldest as well, and there are many filtering options available to you. And here in the center, you have the actual messaging. Here, you can choose to either message through SMS, WhatsApp, or other things that you can import into the system as well. And here on the right-hand side, you'll see their basic information like their email, phone number, and who the contact is assigned to. If you'd like more information on the Conversations tab, we have multiple videos going over it, going into greater detail on all the features that are available to you. Moving on, we have the we have the Calendars tab. The Calendars tab is exactly what it sounds like. Here on the right-hand bottom right side, you can choose which calendar you want to look at. Obviously, you would probably want to pick your own, and you can see which meetings and appointments that you have on these dates. And you can choose to look on day, week, or monthly view. The monthly view might be a little easier to look at. And just a very basic calendar that is within the system, just to make it very convenient for you. Next, we have the Contacts tab. The Conversation, the Calendar, and the Contacts tab all work very well together. Here in the Contacts tab is a central hub for managing your customers and lead information. It allows you to add and edit contacts, segment contacts, track contact interactions, add tags and notes, integrate with other tools, and you can also access the Conversations tab by simply clicking on one of their names. But yeah, we also,
Yeah. Mr. Jeff has a question. Mr.
he
Jeff,
is
you're
muted.
muted.
Thank you. I try to be polite and then I forget to unmute myself. There's more a question for Michael. You plan on letting the call agents actually put things on the calendar for the outside agents to go see them, or are they one and the same? They're not the same people, right?
Yeah, no, they're not. They're using the opportunities probably more, but they haven't really integrated the calendar yet. They haven't been introduced to the calendar. So we're still in the infant stages of getting them all the users set up correctly, and then we've now just taught them all how to do the auto dialing, and they are waiting. Some have received their lists, but they've got quite a few lists that have been built for them. So they're all using the OPM system to make their calls, but they're still working manually outside the system and in the system as we're in the process of trying to build that foundation that Mustafa was talking about.
Okay, because the reason I brought that up is because what we do internally is like I can't. Well, I can circumvent the system, but I say I can put something on, say, Oren's calendar for like 24 hours out. Now I can circumvent it and go in there and put something 15 minutes from now if I see it's open or whatever, but I would call them first. But that's a really cool feature too, is like if they're making the calls and get to the point where they can be loading up outside agents or closers. I don't know if you're going to have outbound agents and then closer agents or that type of thing, where they can load up the calendar for the other person and put it up 24 hours and load them up. But anyways, we can't go down there. I'm sorry for even bringing that up because there's so many rabbit trails, but there's so many cool features. But
we're excited. As I look at Cohen's example here, most of the information that we're seeing right now with the sales reps is just that phone number that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Number. All the other stuff isn't in there yet. And again, it's just we've just kind of piecemealed everything in, and we probably could have done a better job thinking about how we wanted to introduce it. But we're here now, and they're open. It's just that next push is getting them to start using email, and we're getting that set up to automate and do a lot of cool things with the email. But even our IT guy pulling lists hasn't even put emails in for all of the call lists. So we just have some work to do to say, what can we or should we be doing in advance, and then what is going to be their new role that they need to do. And we just have to believe it ourselves. So
Yeah, and just to top it off what Mr. Jeff was saying, it could be something like if you have a service which you do, in which you might down the road want to show a demo of what you're selling or the service you're providing, then you can utilize the calendars in order to book those meetings and then set up the calendar reminders for the meetings and the follow-ups and things like that. So calendars could come in, let's say, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Right now, the foundation is important, but then again, that feature itself is a very powerful feature. That's what Mr. Jeff was trying to convey.
You mean we just can't say a prayer and have it happen? I mean, I want it to happen so much I can't sleep anymore. The question is, can I stay in business long enough to see this thing out?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a process, but every time you implement a feature, you see some progress happening. And that's the motivation. That's the encouragement of doing something new, something different, something more.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We smile a lot, but
hey, Michael, I just threw something on there that we used to use, but all you got to do is replace in the chat. But this is a great script right here. Even if it's just for a sales call, identify the prospect instead of the patient. Identify yourself and your employer. Request instead of payment in full or other. That is the question. Do you have all the people that you currently have all the people that you need for whatever? Yeah. And then this is that number 4 right there is like the most important one, the psychological pause, and shut up. And let the person think and then answer, and then you determine the problem, find the solution, close the agreement, book the call, close it. But anyways, if you want to copy and paste that and weave that into the sales call, that is a great whatever template right there.
I love it. Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much for sharing, Jeff. That means a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, go on. I'll be quiet again.
No, now I'll speak. Just one more thing that made me realize is when you're working with the software and moving forward with different phases, another thing that you'll be looking forward to would be the conversation AI, in which the callers would send out a text message. And once a text message has been replied, the conversation AI will start asking the qualification questions. Let's say there are four qualification questions. And as soon as the fourth qualification question has been answered in a way that you or the business wants it to be answered, it will automatically create an appointment with them for any date for the demo and things like that. So, yes, there's much to look out for, but then again, the foundation is necessary. And right now, what we are showing is not just the possibilities, but everything that can be done in order to have a strong foundation moving forward.
Great.
Sorry, Cohen, no more disturbance from my side until you complete this.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm almost finished anyways. But going over the contacts, there's plenty of information available to you here. You can also create your own list of contacts. Just if you need to shorten some things, or you're not wanting to see all of these other contacts, you want to see a specific few, you can go into the filters. So go to more filters. Click click on one of the filters available. Let's try doing tag, and just pick a random tag. And once you choose your filter, you can choose to save it as a smart list, and then you have your own compilable list of contacts that you needed. And we made multiple videos on the contacts tab as well. So if you want to see more of those features, we have plenty of videos for them as well. Next, we have the opportunity tab. You've seen this plenty of times, but here you can see a pipeline of things. Here we have the marketing leads, deferred, cold campaign, new leads, contacted, hot leads, booked appointment, and proposal sent. This is just basically a way for us to see where our contacts or clients are at in these stages, to see if they're interested in our services, if they're not, if they have booked an appointment and we need someone to be ready to greet them. And then this is where you would do that. You can also assign tasks to certain employees through this page as well. And we also have plenty of videos for the opportunity tab as well. Next, going to the payment tab provides a centralized platform for managing and tracking your financial transactions. It allows you to process payments, view payment history, generate invoices, manage subscriptions, and integrate with payment gateways as well. So you'll be greeted with a list of invoices that have happened over the course of a few months. You can choose filters as well. And we have plenty of videos going further in detail about that as well. But yeah, this is a very quick and easy starter course on where you can find each of these things that will really help your team. And yeah, do we have any questions?
The payment section there, can you have that where it's individual for each of the sales reps to see their sales, or will they see the total sales as well when they all click on that tab? If you take, is it per individual viewer? Can you set it up that way so they can just see their own?
Not just their own within the invoices in the payment section. So anyone that you give access to the payment section would either see it as a whole or none of it at all.
Oh, but you do have an option to decide if the payment, that tab is up on each of the sales reps.
Yeah.
But mostly you can filter it right there.
You can, but then again, you can't remove as far as my knowledge goes regarding the system, you can't make sure that the person can see only the deals or the invoices which is related to that particular sales team member. He'll be able to view all of those or none of it. If he wants to filter it, yes, but you can't prevent him from checking out the others as well. So
Michael, just to let you know, we used to have it where everyone could see everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, because I mean,
Yeah.
if they're bottom of the barrel, they know they are, and they know that
Yeah.
you don't
Well,
have
you know, I
to
don't think, yeah, and we're pretty open book. I guess the question is to, you know, what do they need to know, and maybe is there anything that they shouldn't see because that might distract them or cause them to, you know, believe things or, you know, healthier than they're not, or vice versa, right? So,
But
it's just,
I bet there would be some sort of workaround where you could create, but if that was really the goal, so that they were each their own individual silo,
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there'd be, I mean, you could even make them their own, that'd be a lot of work,
Yeah.
their own sub account or something. There's always a workaround.
yeah, it's not a big deal because they all are putting their sales goals on a whiteboard on their desk. The question is, again, how do we use this to, you know, to benefit them? And, but yeah, you know,
We can build something on the dashboard or on the opportunities and pipelines so that they can view where they currently stand and how many leads they have in the previous stages. So yeah, that can be done. But when it comes to payments and invoices of the entire business, I would go back to one thing that when I was in university, my professor used to say there are two types of knowledge, which is positive knowledge or which can be advantageous for you. The first one is need to know, and the second one is nice to know. So when you're working, the need to know matters more than the nice to know. So we
yeah,
can put apart the nice to know and we can focus on the need to know until that thing has been solidified. And maybe after a time when they have been so much within the company, let's say a year, and that trust and that commitment, that dedication has been developed, then maybe if they want to see the invoices in the payment section, it's okay. Maybe they have an idea about it, something like that, but
yeah,
not at the start, not at the fundamental stage.
yeah. No, that's good points.
So we
And
have to
now
create
let's
that
look at
division.
you, even take away, you could take away that whole tab from agents. couldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So,
Mhm.
Coben, can you go into the settings really quick?
Yeah. You want me to go into the roles?
Yep, the roles and permissions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Michael. The thing with what Mr. said, the need to know, if they don't need to know, they don't need to be able to click around and just be checking out everything under the sun. Keep them in their queue and have them making phone calls.
Yeah,
So, as
yeah,
you can see in front on the screen, as Coben just showed, within the payment section, you can select, deselect as many things as you want. So, view and manage payments, refund payments, record payments, so on and so forth. And that can be done for each and every different feature. However, with a limited capability as of now, but then again, you do have some control.
yeah. I see it.
So
That's good.
why give them the access of something that is not within their domain just to be transparent? Why not just let them stick with the job that they have right now, and maybe in the future they can get access.
Yeah,
So that's how you manage your team. And all the features that we just went through the presentation or what Cohen showed, they were to show you that these features exist and are at your disposal if you want to go for it. If you have a different system in place, if you have a whiteboard system, if you have a physical board system or a paper and pen system or an Excel sheet system, any other system, and it's working out for you, that's amazing. But if not, if you want to go take a step further to automate the process, if you want to streamline your business, then yes, these features exist for your benefit. Now, whether to utilize them or not, it's up to you. And if you
And,
are having trouble utilizing them or you want to utilize them but don't know how, you can just reach out to us.
and that's for another meeting, because that spend more time than
Uh,
this meeting. But when he brought up the dashboard, that's limitless on what you can start doing. You start
yeah,
importing things into the dashboard. So, and then you can literally get to the point where you manage your entire team or multiple offices just from the dashboard as as a manager, whatever. So
yeah,
when I had the call center, I was actually able to get to that point. And I didn't even give myself access to the database because I didn't want to know who was in there. I just I just manage by numbers.
yeah. No, yeah. We're excited. We're just there. Yeah, you know, you see so many opportunities, and like I said, you guys have created something pretty special that it's just we're working through it. We don't know what we don't know, and we know what we do know, and just trying to be more efficient and help these guys have success. And the big picture is just have everybody win, right? The customers and the team, and hopefully we can give a little bit back to the community and make a difference.
Hey,
And
they say a win-win. You're in the business of a win-win-win because you have FTM's clients and the business.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
And
Yeah.
I would just say something that regarding to you specifically, Michael, since you have a team of salespeople who are working and making these calls limitlessly throughout their entire times, the best person to understand what can be done further or to improve that would be Mr. Jeff. Since he has run a call center before, he has handled those agents, he has handled those managers who handle those agents, and work on the efficiency, work on the increase in the reply rate, opening the yes conversation, and entire process right now is his domain. So
Yeah.
I can work with the
You played me up
automations.
a little bit there, Moose.
What are you paying him to say all those nice things? I mean,
I'll tell you what. Okay, I'll give you later, Moose. Thank you. very much.
I'm the strategist. He's the actual case study.
yeah, I love it. Well, no, Jeff, you got a good team around you. The kids are doing good, and it's just a blessing is what I want you to know. And I've shared it many times, but I'm just telling you, I get it and see what's going on, and you guys are just like I said, a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So,
Before
very
we
kind words, and I could not agree more.
Yeah.
So before we conclude, Cohen, can you show just two things? The first one would be the support, and the second one would be what we have for next week.
So as always, if you ever want to reach out to us or you have questions, we do have a support knowledge base that provides you multiple articles that are just so informational that can help you with pretty much any problem that you may come across in our system, just step-by-step guides or troubleshooting and all that. Normally there is a little message box or icon right here. This is our 24/7 live service where you can contact with one of our reps and help you with whatever issue you may come across. We also have the submit request tab. If you feel like your problem is a little too unique and you want to schedule a meeting with us, you can do so here by filling out all the fields, and we'd be more than happy to schedule a meeting with you and help you with whatever issue you may be coming across. But yeah, this meeting was just we don't like micromanaging. We just like accountability and consistency, and we hope that all these tools really provide that for you. But as for next week, we have planned, let's see, we will be going over...
Hey, did you know that Cohen was once a call center agent?
He was? Did you know so was I?
For Labor Max at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to work at a call center too, like roughly 5 years ago.
All right. Sorry to interrupt, Colin. Go right ahead.
That's how I...
Colin, get control of this group, Colin. Everybody's just scrolling on you.
Yeah. We are next week, which is December 17th, we are going to be going over consulting services. We're going to be offering consulting services to clients using OPM and providing strategic guidance and support. This month, we're just going to be really going over advanced analytics and integrations and just overall team management and skills. So, any questions before we end this meeting?
No. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Good job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much for showing up, and we will see you next week.